only allow it on the factory-tuned models, is it? But nothing's more enticing to tuners than an artificial restriction, and I have got something pretty cool to show you. This is a Core i5-12500, a $210 chip that we've got running at a whopping 25% faster. Now, Intel doesn't want you to have this, but I do. So let's take a closer look at it, shall we? After we take a closer look at our sponsor. Signal RGB. With Signal RGB, you can control and sync your favorite RGB devices with one free app. Check out their massive library of effects, audio visualizers, and more at the link in the video description. If you want to play by their rules, Intel requires specific CPU and motherboard pairings to overclock your PC. But whatever you might think of MSI, they've done us a huge solid, going against Intel's wishes and sending over their Mag B660 M Mortar Max motherboard. It's got all the usual goodies, PCIe Gen 5, dual Gen 4 M.2 slots, a beefy 60 amp VRM, and it's got one unusual goodie, the star of the show, its very own external clock generator, the one, the only, Renesas RC26008. Doesn't have a sexy name, but it's right here on the board, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about how it works later. For now though, we overclock. For today's experiment, we went with the Core i5-12500. It's not necessarily the best bang for the buck, assuming that we're gonna overclock the snot out of it. That might be the 12400 because they both have 6 cores and 12 threads. That might be the 12400 because they both have 6 cores and 12 threads. But what's cool about this one is that it's the lowest end Intel chip that I would consider to be feature complete because it supports ECC memory. It's also available for about $210 US. And while I could pay $50 more for the 12600K, which is the entry-level overclocking chip, with this puppy, I don't need to. To ensure that we're not gonna run up against a thermal wall, we've gone straight to the top of the line for our cooling with an NHD15 from Noctua. That might seem like kind of a wacky choice when we're so focused on saving a buck, but a cooler like this one can actually be thought of as a long-term investment, one that you can carry forward to future systems with only a cheap mounting adapter bracket. The frequency or clock speed of the various components of your system, CPU, the memory, even the PCI Express slots, is derived from your system's B clock or base clock times some multiplier. So the safer way to overclock your CPU, without risking running anything else out of spec, is to simply adjust the CPU multiplier and leave that base clock alone. Unfortunately, that's the method that's behind the Intel paywall, and there is nothing that we can do about it. So we are going to use that special clock generator chip to enable base clock overclocking, and then we can tune it by adjusting our core ratios. So step 1 is to adjust our base clock from 100 to 125. Ah yes, this is fun. To enable CPU overclocking, MSI is actually using a specific microcode, an older version that wasn't successfully locked down by Intel. Now we set our P-core ratio, or our multiplier, is actually using a specific microcode, an older version that wasn't successfully locked down by Intel. Now we set our P-core ratio, or our multiplier, to 40. That is a value that is enabled for this particular CPU. It's just not supposed to be times 125, putting us at 5 gigahertz. And then to make sure that our poor memory is not going completely out of whack here, we want to find the closest thing to 3200, and this is amazing. It does all the math for you. Look at that. For that, we might need a little bit more voltage, and this is a very, very quick and dirty over. This is amazing. It does all the math for you. Look at that. For that, we might need a little bit more voltage, and this is a very, very quick and dirty overclock. Let's see what happens. Well, that's disappointing. It looks like it didn't take. We're only running at 4 gigahertz, which, if we do the math, is our multiplier of 40 times 100 base clock, not 125. Unless Task Manager is not the best system monitoring tool. Hey, whoa, hey, look at this. It's doing it. Yeah, this chip's not supposed to draw. Over 120 watts, is it? We're hitting 82, 83 degrees on an NHD15 with a 6-core chip. She's spicy. Anyway, the point is we're running at 5 gigahertz. Look at this. That's freaking awesome. I was so busy trying to get my hardware info windows sorted out here that I didn't even think about that this is not crashing. 5 flipping gigahertz. And look at these scores. We're getting like 15,000, nearly 16,000 points in Cinebench. That's not that far off a flipping like 16-core first-gen Threadripper with 6 cores. I freaking love this. Overclocking on Intel hasn't been this much fun in over a decade. AMD, meanwhile, has been much more permissive. A little bit more on that later. On both sides, realistically, we have had a similar issue where most of their products are running so close to the red line out of the box that even if you can keep them cool, there just isn't a ton of headroom. And it's these budget chips where you really feel like you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. And there's no doubt that this thing bangs off camera. We pushed it even further to a stable overclock of 5.25 gigahertz on all cores with 1.2 volts of juice, and we saw our performance improve by leaps and bounds. Cinebench is up 25% compared to stock speed and still under 85 degrees. Like what? Yeah, you heard me. That score is almost as good as a Core i9 from just last generation out of the box, giving you enough money left over to pick up both new colors of our waffle long sleeve shirts, lttstore.com. And we found the same thing across the rest of our productivity benchmark suite. Over a minute saved in Blender, major improvements in 7-zip, and an extra 4,000 points in CPU pass mark. I mean, it is entirely possible that we won the Silicon Lottery here and that your 12500 wouldn't go this far without instability. But that's also half the fun of it, isn't it? Which makes me kind of wonder then, are AMD's days of being the budget-friendly king coming to an end if we can squeeze this much performance out of a $200 chip? No, for a number of reasons. First up is that, unlike Intel, AMD allows you to do basically whatever you want with your CPU as long as your motherboard's power delivery can handle it. And because they remove arbitrary lockdowns, except in certain cases, 5800 XDD, their product lineup is simpler as well. More graphics? Grab a G-series chip. Want anything else? Well, pick the CPU that's right for you based on core count, clock speed, and cache. And if you want to overclock it, just about any board outside of their very budget A-series boards is going to allow it. Just your mileage may vary. And unfortunately for the Intel fans out there, Intel fans, you in the house? Hey, there you are. Unfortunately for you guys, the same can't be said for y'all even with this motherboard. Why? Well, because you can't get this motherboard. I mean, it's on the MSI website, and you can get the non-max version, which does not have the RC26008 chip. But for us to get our hands on this thing, we had to whip out our press credentials and get them to send it to us. And it's not that it's like too new or anything. They showed this thing off months ago, and we actually did find a couple of AliExpress listings for it. But the problem is that they've got additional markups on them to the point where they're $230 US. It's not a great deal for a B660 board. Plus, you're now adding $30 for international shipping. Plus, maybe customs or import fees when it shows up, which means that it doesn't really make a ton of sense. For reference, the non-max version of this board without the base clock chip, which honestly can't add that much, is only $180 US. So if you're going to be spending so much more, well, it gets to the point where you might as well just look at a cheaper Z690 board and And also, since you're such a baller, you can throw some money our way for a Floatplane subscription, where you can find all the latest extra content, like an hour of bonus footage from the recent build with my sister. And there's another problem with all of this. I alluded to it before, but it needs to be really highlighted here, that base clock overclocking can be a much worse kind of unstable than CPU multiplier overclocking. When you're adjusting your CPU multi, the odds of anything worse than a blue screen are pretty low. So you go back into your BIOS, set it a little bit lower, and boom, you're back in your game in a couple of minutes. But with base clock overclocking, when they say base, they mean it. CPU, memory, PCI Express lanes, storage, even peripherals can be affected when you're adjusting this value. And those are components that are not designed to run outside of spec. So you're going to want to run a battery of stability tests, disk tests, you get your firmware, your mem test, and you got to check and make sure that everything is stable, or you can run into crashes, or worse, even things like data corruption during real-world use. And it gets even worse. While our gaming performance did improve in CPU-bound games like CSGO, where we gained 50 frames per second, we were already getting 460 frames per second. So unless you're a pro player, no offense, you're probably not, and sure that everything is stable, or you could run into crashes, or worse, even things like data corruption during real-world use. And it gets even worse. While our gaming performance did improve in CPU-bound games like CSGO, where we gained 50 frames per second, we were already getting 460 frames per second. So unless you're a pro player, no offense, you're probably not, you are not going to benefit from that difference. Then we transitioned over to modern AAA games, where we really could use another 50 FPS, and, well, the sad story there is that the 12500 is already fast enough that your modern GPU is probably going to be the bottleneck anyway. So at best, we got a couple more FPS. Maybe overclocking it fast enough that your modern GPU is AAA games, where we really could use another 50 FPS, and, well, the sad story there is that the 12500 is already fast enough that your modern GPU is probably going to be the bottleneck anyway. So at best, we got a couple more FPS. Maybe overclocking is still dead then? I've already talked a lot about how even top-tier coolers like the NHD15 can hardly tame a boosting 12900K. So good luck overclocking it unless you have custom loop liquid cooling or something much more exotic. And then even over on the AMD side, as permissive as they are, if you enable PBO on your 5950X, it's going to get pretty darn close to its final form without requiring any additional fiddling in the BIOS. Something we explored recently with Pro Overclocker Splayed is the advantages of undervolting these higher-end chips so that they can boost in a stable manner, but without cooking themselves. But then the performance gains from undervolting, they're pretty pedestrian compared to what we showed you guys today, which makes overclocking top-tier chips boring, kind of pointless, and expensive. So the most frustrating thing about this MSI board, I mean, cool product, to be clear, really like it, is that it puts us face to face with what we've lost. These lower tier CPUs, man, these things could totally rip if you were just allowed to give them a little bit of extra juice at the expense of nice to haves like low operating temperatures and a warranty. Intel just won't allow us to do it. Now, MSI didn't respond by the time that we filmed this when we asked why this thing isn't broadly available. Which really sucks. Just like this low-effort segue to our sponsor.
Squarespace. If you want to build a brand online, you need a website, beautiful websites, and /LTT.
That ECC memory support.
Match found. They have no idea how heartless I am.
Everyone good if my pets run around out here? I don't do leashes. Should be alright.
Enemy spotted mid. Spike dropped.
I have the spike.
Hawk out!
Enemy B.
Healing over here! I like the stuff.
Spike down B. Last player standing. Killjoy is an offense to my radiance. I'll break her apart. Gonna here.
Shadows traveling. Shadows traveling.
Somebody's there. Wingman's gonna plant.
Stealing sight.
Stealing sight. Disappeared.
Spike, where you go? Hawk out! Blinded.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
They stumbled. Now is our chance. Tip the balance in our favor.
Hawk out!
Cover going out.
Plant the spike, Wings. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings.
Safe. My ult ready. Stealing sight.
We turn to dust.
Cutting their vision.
One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready. That's done. Quick break.
Keep that fire, yeah?
Gun here.
Hawk out!
Shadows traveling.
There.
Cover going out.
Somebody's
My
there.
ultimate is ready.
Wingman's planting.
Cutting their vision. Stealing sight.
Spike stick. Thanks, little man.
One enemy remaining. Team A.
Pity the man who dies meaningless.
We know what we're doing. Trust each other and we'll be fine.
Gun here. Fight! Hawk out! Wingman's gonna plant spike. Someone's there. They shot my wingman.
Watch them run.
I've got your trail.
Seek them out.
Prepare for hellfire.
The rush.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left.
I have the spike.
That was worrisome, Reyna.
Reloading.
March through them. Hawk out.
There.
Finished.
Eliminate.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
I have the spike.
Thirty seconds left.
Sad fools standing in our way.
There.
Yes.
We go!
Shadows traveling.
Blinded.
Up and away.
Cover going out.
Cutting their vision. Still in sight.
Reloading. Got the spike, Wings.
You should run.
Spike landed.
Fought well.
Thanks,
but
Wings.
ultimately win.
Enemy B. My territory, my rules. All you, Mosh.
One enemy remaining.
Reloading. Stand tall. We are valorant. We are fighters.
Reloading. I am everywhere. Shadows traveling.
Enemy spotted A.
Perfect.
Hawk out.
Cutting their vision.
Enemy spotted A. Wingman's planting.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is ready.
Spike's ticking. Thanks, little man.
Here.
You don't mess with my crew.
Reloading.
What will it be this time? Have any patterns emerged yet?
Reloading.
Attackers win.
Cancel the meeting.
Reloading.
Match found. Match found.
Nothing stays hidden from me. Nothing.
You look at those basalt columns. You know those hexagonal shapes fall naturally.
Does anyone have funds? Merci.
My camera is destroyed.
Next.
Spike down A.
Spike spotted. A.
Here.
Last player standing. Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
That's three.
Clutch.
Did everyone see that?
Cypher, just tell me where they are. I'll do the rest.
Try not to get shot, okay?
This goes here.
More range. Enemy spotted mid.
Camera taken out.
Omen kill. Reloading.
Less. Enemy mid. Sunlight.
Here.
Tripwire destroyed.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid.
That's the last one.
That was good. Another round, yes?
That goes there.
Show them how we fight.
Yes, this should do.
Enemy spotted A.
Spike down mid.
Allah. Camera, I must wait a moment. No hard feelings.
Enemy spotted C.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Time to stock back up.
Speak up if you need a gun.
I need this. I need this.
Does anyone have funds? They are so dead.
No money, no money.
Ultimate is ready.
Spike down mid.
Headshot. Give me up. Where is everyone hiding? Cage triggered. Cage triggered.
One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
Last player standing.
Okay, okay.
Move together and overwhelm them.
Need a drop. Thanks.
Oh, this is a nice spot. This goes here.
Focus now. Eyes up.
Wow, my eyes are down. Cage triggered.
Enemy mid.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy spotted A.
Flawless.
Wow, so embarrassing.
Reloading.
This is fun. Who needs training dummies when you have real dummies? Here.
Yes, this should do. My intel is their obstacle. That goes there. Camera taken out. Trick shots.
Off your feet!
Here.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Stay down.
I find them. I kill them. Simple as that. this is a nice spot.
Get out of my way!
Enemy spotted C.
Grounded. Ooh, no charges left. My ult's ready.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
My power does not ebb. Ask for aid, and you shall receive.
Can someone spot me?
Here, the fun begins.
Enemy spotted A. Stand down.
One enemy remaining.
Kill my allies!
Where is everyone hiding?
Come here.
Here.
One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
Enemy A. Well, this suit is ruined. Spike is A.
I hate to say it, but probably best to play as a team. So, what's the plan?
Here. Night night. Enemy spotted A.
Spike down A.
Careful now.
Spike spotted A.
No.
Spike planted.
You lose.
One enemy remaining.
Emma. Cage triggered.
Reloading. My ult is ready.
Spike defused. I can't see them yet, but I can feel them getting ready. Yes, this should do. This goes here. Yalla, Mshina. Oh, this is a nice spot. My camera is destroyed. One down.
Spike down mid.
Spotted mid.
Water rising.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Win. Show me where to go.
That goes there. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
One down.
Enemy mid.
Get out of my way!
Spotted A. Train harder.
Goodbye.
Reloading.
Cage triggered.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid.
Wide is gone.
Last round before the switch.
We cannot keep our goods as it is. Spend all.
That goes there.
They are so dead.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
Careful around Jet. She's sharp.
This goes here. Found you.
Off your feet!
Watch this! Enemy down. Enemy spotted. Mid.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Reloading.
Switching sides.
These new friends of ours are not too friendly.
Does anyone have funds? Merci.
Yes, this should do.
Aram se.
Here. Here.
Multiple enemies mid.
Enemy spotted A.
Our spike carrier is killed.
Last player standing. Spike down mid.
Conflict is not my first choice, but that choice was made.
They are making this simple.
Spike
I have the
dropped.
spike.
Imposter killed.
Cage triggered. Our spike carrier is killed.
Spike down, C. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
That's 3.
30 seconds left.
All these things.
Okay, we know the drill. Spike's here.
Who will I spot first?
Here.
Enemy spotted B.
One dead.
Opponent killed.
Blocking sight. Spike planted.
Pardon, monsieur.
One enemy remaining.
Spawn. Okay, quick break. My ult is ready.
Gun here.
Your mind is just as dangerous as your weapon. Use it.
They are so dead.
Stay in the moment.
Enemy spotted B.
Oh, I've been doing this.
Hostile removed.
I love this gun.
Plant the spike.
One enemy remaining.
Plant the spike.
Cage triggered.
Spike planted.
We crushed them.
Match point.
We're so close I can taste it. Come on!
Here.
Weapon here.
Bonne chance, mes amis.
Rest.
Cage triggered.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Satisfying. My ultimate is ready.
Attackers win.
Just your healer. Do not fight us again. Your duty is not over.